finals. I can't wait to see this matchup. Thank you for joining me, and best of luck in your game.
Is there a bigger and better compliment than Nats telling you that you are better than him on Cypher?
No. Next question.
I think that's it. I think that's just
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, absolutely. But to see this interactions between players, to see that we can have this wholesomeness, it's going to be very important. Also, that the last thing that they were speaking about being cold on stage, because there are some new faces that are going to be there for the first time, and for EDG, they have to defend that title.
Yeah, and no new faces for EDG though. Mimi, is this an advantage, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the two teams that have made really minimal changes are always going to come out advantage. There's more than just that, but I think if Team America is making one change, EDG sticking by their roster completely, who lifted that trophy just a few months ago in Seoul. Like we mentioned earlier, the first team who's done that, who comes back in the exact same way, with the exact same roster. And while they had that rocky start, that time it takes to actually get a roster to mesh together, for all the players to know how the others play, how the others are as people, that takes a long time, and I think it's a big advantage for EDG coming into this event.
I think also if we look at what happened last year, the Neon had a lot of weight into what they were doing, something that they're still playing to this day. For me, for them, the challenge this event is how they're going to face off against the teams that have advanced in the meta, that are incorporating new things. Some of them, they don't even get to see in the region, but at least they had a longer time to prep, because it's been a month since their kickoff.
Yeah, I do think it is so interesting how unique they are compared to other teams. We've seen a lot of movement towards like the Teo, Yoru ideas. They're the only real regen and one of the few teams who's actually stuck by the Neon, and it was effective back then. There were nerfs, but I think people are too fast to write that agent off, because Hong Kong is still an absolute beast on Neon.
It fits them.
Yeah, and as you said, they've had the longest break too. I think they would have made a very, very good use of this. But the 2024 Champs MVP is in the building, and this is what Kong Kong had to say to Mika Paz.
The defending champions are back on the global stage. Kong Kong, what is your message to all of the teams who are going to come for you this whole year and the rest of EDG? We have my good friend Luna here to help us some translation.
那有没有什么话是想要对今年冲着你们而来、想要挑战你们的队伍说的呢？
我觉得友谊第一，比赛第二吧，然后享受游戏就好了。
I think the first come up first is our friendship, and next is our competition, the competitive whole thing, right? I just gonna enjoy enjoy the stage.
Friends, competition, and enjoying the stage. Gotta love it. Good luck, Kong Kong.
I love how humble he is out here. He's just happy to see his mates, you know, it's like summer camp being here. But having said that though, do you guys feel like he is still the best player coming into this tournament?
I think that there is a discussion to be had, definitely. It depends on, again, thinking of the plans and the things that they were doing in the region. I was going to say, the Neon just fits them. The more aggressive, again, always going in as a pack, it gives him that kind of freedom. And he could definitely be up there and prove that maybe following the meta is not that important for them.
It's a testament to how good he is, at least for me, that I don't necessarily expect EDG to win this event, but I still kind of expect him to be the best player of the event, because no matter what's going on, no matter what the meta, no matter what changes within the team, this guy is always an absolute beast in the server. I mean, you saw it in China where he was putting up insane stats in yet another split. You saw it at Champions. He's just incredibly consistent, and he's also so unique, right? Still playing Neon, still offing as much as he is. He's a player that, in and of himself, you have to think about how to play against.
And I do wonder what this means for the players of Team Liquid, because you have players like Kiko and Camo and Kamek as well, who have never played on a stage this big. And for the Duelist players, they have to go up against Kong Kong on their debut.
There is a lot of pressure. I think that it also comes down to how the map beta is going to go, but Team Liquid have been in such great pressure throughout the entirety of the year that they should be quote-unquote used to this. I know that it's very imposing, like just having all the people behind you and just being on a bigger stage against an opponent that you've never played against, but I'm hopeful for them.
Yeah, I think you have to be, but it is a big difference, right? Team Liquid had to start from scratch this year. Nats is the IGL, all of these rookie players coming in. They're on the start of their journey. This is deep in for EDG. This is their second year. Their confidence has to be super high on that stage already.
And I wonder how much faith you guys have in EDG as well, because it's time for the results for our MasterCard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you which region will take home the trophy. The results are in, and it is, I mean, is closer than I thought it would be, and you guys have voted America's first, then Pacific second. Mimi, you must be happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think China getting clearly underrated in this pool, but I'd imagine a lot of G2 believers and a lot of Sen clout heads like Bren in that poll.
Yeah, I understand it. I think that I agree with this. I know the way that G2 has been playing and they're clear favorites for this tournament, but I like the fact that everybody's got their numbers.
It's yeah, I think it's not an upset, right? We expected a lot of the people to go for America's. Are you surprised that Pacific came second?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
honestly,
China would
I
be
feel
there.
like,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Are you not gonna
Pacific
give the time zone breakthrough?
No, I moved past that. That's
okay, sorry. So sorry.
No, but in my opinion, I think Pacific looked like the weakest region coming into this one, but it's still a close field, and they have a lot of fans, of course.
Yeah, I think people are underrating T1 a little bit. I know DRX, we know they're good, but I think T1 can do some damage. But let's take a look at the predictions from us and the other talent members, of course. And it looks like Kakuka, I was a traitor. I'm sorry. I was a big-time traitor. Yeah, and you are the only person that went with Team Liquid.
I think they can possibly do it. I know that when we get to the maps, maybe I change my mind, but they've been so insisting in someone believing in them and what they can achieve that honestly, I believed it. I've been in this situation in the past. Didn't end up well, but I'm going to believe them for this one. I think that they should know how to prep against this team.
Only seeing the Pacific talent go for DRX2 is a bit of a surprise to me. I think Chen is favored there, but I don't think they're massively favored.
I got bribed. That was a bribe. Yeah, I would have gone with DRX. I got bribed. I had to be the allegations or somewhere. But the wait is nearly over for our first global event of the year. We are kicking things off with EDG versus Team Liquid, and then followed by DRX versus Sentinels. I hope you guys are ready, because we definitely are. You don't want to miss any action today. And without further ado, day one of Masters Bangkok starts right here, right now.
Everybody please your perk. Your perk will kick these people with my kitty pound. Play with the wrong gal pal. Put when they put get a popcorn out. Popcorn out. Yeah, I'm catch you my pound. Take it out, back it out. What's up with pop love? Yo, how about now, bruh? Tell by me, me the raw to the whoop. Put your moon chip now. Bigger pack of peppers. People like me pick a pack of breath for a week per day per minute. Rapper likes me to pull and panic. But go back for me for the proof. They couldn't break a jam loose. Array me rule from poor key pan. My pine to pull back a right point. I thought it's true. Fruit in one punch. All battles are beat in one punch. You do sleep with this one punch. One punch, you went to go to one punch, one none to go to one punch, one day, one life, one day, one punch. If you have one shot, better have one punch.
ในภาษาไทยเรามีคำว่าใจสู้หมายถึงหัวใจที่ทรหดไม่ยอมแพ้ต่ออุปสรรคแม้ว่ามันจะหนักหนาสักแค่ไหนซึ่งเป็นคำที่เติมไฟให้เหล่านักสู้ดูริสทุกคน
Once the game begins, my confidence just kicks in.
lock up the noise, line up the shot. As a duelist, I always keep my eyes open.
当然，所有人都会觉得，作为一个决斗者应该有勇气，应该去面对。但是我认为，作为一个决斗者，你不仅需要这些，你需要创造力。天不生我 EDG， VCT， 万古如长夜。我准备好卫冕。
สวัสดีครับโอ้โหวันนี้นะครับก็เป็นไงบ้างรู้สึกไงบ้างชาวไทยทุกคนนะครับดีใจมากนะครับที่มีวันนี้เกิดขึ้นมาจริงๆก่อนอื่นเลยขออนุญาตแนะนำตัวนะครับผมอิฐนะครับก็จะรับหน้าที่เป็นพิธีกรของทุกคนในรายการแข่งครั้งนี้นะครับเราเจอกันยาวๆอย่างแน่นอนก็ถือว่าเป็นรายการแข่งที่ใหญ่มากๆของประเทศไทยอีกหนึ่งงานเลยทีเดียวนะครับผมที่รวบรวม8ทีมจากท็อปที่สุดของโลกนะครับเพื่อมาประชันกันในการแข่งครั้งนี้นะครับผม and hello ladies and gentlemen watching back at home watching in the stadium wherever you are I'm Isara and I'll be your host for this event for the next 2 weeks and trust me man this time like the teams top 8 teams coming from all over the world for the Valorant qualifiers are able to come here to fight, to compete in one of the biggest international stadiums in Thailand. And of course, let me give a round of applause to all the teams. Apologize there, I'm just super excited to be here, being in the middle of all the Thai fans, all the fans from all over the world as well. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let me attempt, okay, to welcome all of you to the local name of this incredible city. Welcome to Masters กรุงเทพมหานครอมรรัตนโกสินทร์มหินทราอยุธยามหาดิลกพบรัตน์ราชธานีบุรีรมย์อุดมราชนิเวศหาสถานอมรพิมานเอาตาสถิตสกทิตยะวิษณุกรรมประสิทธิ์โอเคครับขอบคุณมากครับผม Thank you everybody for all the support. I really needed that, but yes, that is the full name. Anyways, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time. I believe that everybody's super excited to watch the games already. So let's do this one more time together. Make it short, make it simple. Let's do it officially. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Masters Bangkok.
Welcome to Masters Bangkok. Indeed, both of these teams had a bit of a shaky start, but they are here for a reason. EDG still to see if they are the best team in the world, and Team Liquid to prove everybody else wrong. But Kakuka, you mentioned earlier the map features are going to be super important. So talk me through why.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight onto it. Everything's displayed. Team Liquid keeping their permaban. Same goes for EDG. Going on to Split as the first map. EDG decided to go on to Pro. Makes a lot of sense. Team Liquid, a little bit wacky, still has not won it. But I wonder if Team Liquid is comfortable enough in this split, and especially not having that much tape onto EDG. Just not much.
Yeah, it is also really interesting. You mentioned this earlier, Yinsu. The Chinese teams had 30 whole days off from when they qualified to this tournament, now playing their first match in Masters Bangkok. So a lot of chances for EDG to iterate, to come out with something new, to show us here. That's an advantage that Liquid does not have.
They do not, but I do think the advantage they have here is forcing EDG to pick the Pearl. I think this is a trap. We've seen Liquid do this before when they leave Lotus open, and they looked insane on it. So I think EDG have to be careful, because for Split, as we talk about this map, I will be very, very surprised. Just, you know, even with a break, can take it into consideration that EDG can come out with something better than Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, Liquid had looked really good. They were 3-0 in EMEA on this one. I love the look they were showing with this double dive raise Yoru composition on Split, and I'm interested to see them go back into that here.
Oh, Kiko's going to be amazing, having his debut just being on the duelist. What is it?
But people are going to be so confused. They're like, Kiko roll swap, he's an open player now. Why is he playing raise?
He's flexible, okay? He can do it all. You know, if we're going to talk about everybody playing duelist, just rock T1 already onto the stage. But especially for this split, as I was mentioning, there is not a lot of tape on EDG. And also, very important, the tape that they had is playing against a team that was running the Deadlock Vice, right? And they were struggling a lot getting onto the side when I was bot reviewing this. And I understand that they were taking more time than they usually do.
Yeah, I'm interested too. EDG plays in a way not a lot of the EMEA teams do. They still have the Neon, they still play their very unique style, and they're going into the Breach Teho here to start things off.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Simon playing the Deco here previously? It was something about him that I didn't quite like, and that he was not really proactive with the utility. So many things that you can do with Deco, and he was much more reactive.
They were playing the Tango Sky last time. I think this comp makes a lot more sense. You have a ton of utility to combine, set Kong Kong up for success on that Jet. When we swap the defense, he's going to be an absolute menace with the off as well.
Yeah, and I want everybody to remember what Nats used to do on this map. You have that in your head. He still does it. Nothing has changed. Absolutely. And EDG should know.
What a perfect head-to-head, too. Him against Chichu, the same role on the lurk to start off on Split. Getting to see those guys play against each other once again.
I want to see the explanation onto why the Jet instead of the Raze. I'd like the trade denial here. Both of the teams also playing without a Sentinel, right? They are going to rely more on Chichu and Nats to just have that control over middle. I think that is going to be one of the key areas of the map.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. And it sounds like the crowd cannot wait to see it either. So let's jump into this game and welcome your casters for this matchup. It is Sideshow and Brent.
Absolutely, and we've got an absolute banger here for our opening match of the first international event of our year, of our calendar here in Bangkok. EDG, reigning champions, going up against Team Liquid, who've been on a bit of a heater. Couldn't quite stick the landing in terms of that regional performance, but they made a hell of a go of it.
They certainly did. Team Liquid have already taken out one of our last year's champs finalists to make it here. They destroyed Heretics 3-0. And now here's another one of these champs finalists that Team Liquid has an opportunity to take down. Split's a wonderful map to open things up. We know what to expect from Liquid. One of the big questions about EDG and Trace throughout this tournament is going to be how effectively have they used their break. They had over 2 weeks extra to prep before Bangkok, but they'll have used some of that, taking a bit of a holiday break because of Chinese New Year. Here we can already see that EDG have retooled their composition. They'll have the ability to anti-Team Liquid a bit more heavily. By the look of things that open, Team Liquid are pulling out the same defense pistol that they played against Vitality, where they play B for full retake, a flood defense over towards A with that teleport so that Camel can get back, and quad fighting in mid. Have EDG been watching the tape?
Let's find out, we'll see. Don't shy away from it whatsoever. Instead, Kangkang's going to be going straight up through a ram. Now, he's alone when this is happening, and the fight is kicking off into mid.
They have not watched the tape.
Yeah.
Simon was not ready for that. He's just out in mid with the spike.
Donated, yet still the right click in the hands of Kangkang. He picks up the upgrade, but he's going to be cleaned up. This is what Team Liquid are good at. Comes down to that discipline. They've honed it, they've refined it. Still, openings could be found. It's a 2v3, and it's going to be a difficult one at that.
I mean, how on earth do you recover this spike? Chichu and Smoggy are going to have to take fights. At the same time, there's a bait and switch setup here as well. Kiko has been playing some incredible Valorant so far in EMEA kickoff, and if he fails, Camo's played in.
The microplays that Team Liquid love to cook up on the fly are so good.
Last player standing.
It's what's really set them on that path, and it really begins here in Bangkok with a pistol round win.
Already at the beginning, I'm reminded of what Chichu was talking about in the press conference. The Chichu Nats romance.
Sure.
People are loving it. People are loving it. But what I got from the press conference was that Chichu was saying because he's such a fan of Nats, he's been watching all of the Team Liquid games. So he said, I know how their playstyle has shifted, I've watched all of their footage, and I think we need to play slowly to counter what Team Liquid is doing. I think that's accurate. Team Liquid love fighting on their defense side, and I think EDG need to find those moments to slow down the tempo. That pistol round was the exact opposite of what Chichu said. Kankan went instantly up ramps and died. I mean, they died in mid.
Some semblance of an idea, but Camo's going to be postured early off the angle. The all grouped up now, obviously. Another buy for them. Walls up. Camo just spraying and praying. No reward though. It's the info. TP to evacuate in case he needs it. There's going to be a flash into his face, just like he turned, but no. Still blinded up. It's going to be Prowler supplemented, peeking out wide, but he's still going to play his life. And so, giving up the sight, it'll be an open plant for EDG.
Spike planted.
We'll find out what I can do past this point here. Cheeky angle for Kankai. Tucked up close. Personal. Nice setup like that as well, but the horn just reveals as well. Not quite anything to break it. Satchel, lay it down. Studs right behind them. That's an attempt by EDG just to try and bail out one of their star players. It's going to be an inevitable round at last. Team Liquid up to 2.
Now we get to see whether Team Liquid have got a new bonus round idea. They ran a very similar pistol to the finals that they played in EMEA. Have they got a different bonus round idea? Kiko is only 2 away from getting his showstopper online. He's been able to get tons of kills early on. 4 of those, pick up some ult orbs, diffuses, that kind of stuff. Last defense bonus round that Team Liquid ran was an explosion out through B main. This time, it does look like a different setup. But with the propensity of Team Liquid to fight aggro on defense in rounds like this, I think EDG need to be cautious. Even if the threat in B main doesn't exist, you can see them 4 stacking outside B right now. They are not going to allow the same plan to hit them.
Oh my god, barely getting a handle onto the horns. There's a pull and supplement, and this guy is being chased out. Chomping a bit to try and get a piece of him, and meanwhile, Kankang's cracking open the opposite side of the site. Go. Does isolate the fight with Chichu going down, but still Kankang will not be stopped. It's relentless here, the opposing section of the map. Gets that plant down, cracks open the side for them.
If Canada had just played that a little slower instead of trying to go in through the smoke, Team Liquid would not have been in a bad spot. But now, player disadvantage, weaponry disadvantage, tough to convert a position like this. They're just looking to do damage to EDG. Having said that, Kiko just got the ult online.
Yeah, and that's also a critical kill of that. It's going to be catching mid lurk, and already you can see it, the ult, the threat of it, already pushing out and pulling out some of that util. Kankang tucked up top rafters, nobody swinging for this guy, and it's all dealt with. 2 surviving.
And that's an enormous round from Kankan. He really makes that work for EDG. The entry that we didn't get to see over towards the B side takes down the side anchor, that Astra. And also, let's dial it back. Let's talk about prep. EDG got completely caught by the same pistol round, but they were ready for the bonus round idea. 4 players waiting outside B main. They just weren't ready for the fact it was happening on the opposite side. The A push.
One enemy.
And it's Kankan that comes out with the goods, as he's so often gonna do.
Despite the fact that only 2 players survived of EDG, they pull out the showstopper in that round. It's not a bad one for them. We are already in to the following round, round 4 here. And guns across the board. It's a bit of the action. There was that conditioning with the salvos, a bit of fault line into B main from what I could see. Just to get EDG into position.
Yeah, and that makes it does make it more difficult for Team Liquid to fight over this B area. And their comp is actually not very good when they're forced to play passive positions as they are currently. Liquid are going to want to try to take time. They're going to want to try to push through smokes, contact in. It's EDG's job to control the pace of this game and then allow their overwhelming utility to come through good on the executes.
Deep Prowler used on the other section of A. Team Liquid just trying to clean up the unknowns across the map. There's only one player left to stand here. Kamek is going to be tested into this spot and position. He's got some help from on high. People are going to be joining him, and what a beautiful shot that is. He easily dismisses it, but EDG are not to be trifled with. They're going to be running them down onto the site, and well, just walking straight into the sightlines. Nance makes a decent go of it. That is flicky. We need more than that at this point with EDG playing like this. Nobody, a four-piece to finish off the fourth round.
And that shows you that even when Kong Kong is going to get taken down in some of these entries, EDG have that second wave follow-up. It was this flash push through. Breach util from Simon, empowering Smoggy and Nobody to get into the B site. They didn't need Kong Kong to make the space. They still were keeping util in reserve. Great shots hit, and Team Liquid now, after a successful pistol, that's all they've written so far. Back down on an eco.
See, the pause in the timer could mean one of two things.
Yeah, I mean...
Someone spilt a drink,
I
or
prefer a tactical pause, and I
Yeah.
do think that this would be a reasonable time for Team Liquid to take one. But who knows?
Yeah, there'll be two going rounds. Well, listen,
tragedy. And
can't always be lucky.
A dagger to the heart.
Yeah, can't
Dagger
always
to
be
the heart.
lucky. And Irina lights up red.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
There are warning signs. We'll see. I'm going to take a gander over the stage. Who do I have to blame about this one? But
I think it is really interesting that Kong Kong has gone for the Jet on this map. The fact that he's working with an unconventional pick, I suppose, of the... Normally you would want to see people running the Raze on this map, generally speaking, if they're going to be playing the Duelist. But I think one of the reasons for this too is going to be that on the defense side, he's able to play those off angles, dash out of position. And here you can see his follow-up on the entry from Nobody and Simon's util is still really solid. He doesn't necessarily need the boobot to be able to trade off of. It's time for the teams to collect their thoughts. I've got to say, I was a bit worried when we saw the pistol and EDG just ran straight into what they were cooking.
listen, yeah, a team...
Instead, it's been good.
As tenured as EDG, you know, sometimes it can be a bit nervy. Playing up.
I mean, if you want to talk about nervy, if we're talking about inexperience versus experience, this is another game that typifies that completely. We've seen Paditek, obviously, on the big stage. There was a sub most recently, getting his chance here to avenge Team Heretics for that Champions loss. And we've also seen Nats, of course, at the big stage as well. But if you're looking for anybody to be crumbling under the pressure slightly, I think your eyes would have to turn to the rest of the Team Liquid players. Somebody like Kiko has honestly looked like a top 5 player at Masters Bangkok, I think. Like, if you're looking at all of the players heading into this tournament, Kiko has looked top 5.
I mean, he's phenomenal.
He's been otherworldly, and yet last year when he was playing Duelist, you barely got a hint of this kind of potential. So they saw something. They did a fantastic job of swapping him over to Smokes, but even here on Duelist, he's been electric. Those are the kind of players that I'm looking at. Can you keep it up when the pressure's on?
Yeah. We'll be getting into games shortly as well. Just had to do a quick little remake of the round. Not rolling anything back as well, just want to keep you all in the loop. I can see the timer ticking down at that, so we will be getting into the action momentarily. I didn't lie to anybody.
And we're back in.
Yeah.
Lovely. Good stuff. A lot of ults starting to get up here. Kiko obviously decided to invest his a little earlier on to see if he could secure the bonus round. But now we're starting to get up to everybody else's cycle. So looking towards Nobody, looking towards Camo as well, to potentially be a bit of a playmaker.
Time to take risks if you are Team Liquid.
I think the entire defense, they've got to take risks.
Yeah.
This composition is not comfortable playing slow rounds at the start. And one of the big reasons for that, as Camo goes to try to take a risk, is Camo's gate crash. It's got a 30-second expiry date on it. And once that's dissipated, you don't have the ability to reinforce the other side. So you want to try to get things going in the first 30 seconds, force EDG to make fast reactions rather than slow the pace down.
EDG can't quite find the options they were looking for, I guess, into mid, but with Nobody picking off towards A, that's where they're setting their sights at the 50 seconds mark. It's important that you don't end up running a clock against yourselves.
And they have historically struggled on anti-ecos, but I don't see the resistance here.
No. Just one player's Paddy with a shorty in hand. I mean, we've seen some ridiculous stuff with this gun, but don't think in this scenario it's going to be paying off too much, unless... No, not quite.
Shorty versus Outlaw.
Unless... I mean, Kang, does he expect it? Wait a second! How the hell is he getting away with that? He might as well the skin of his teeth.
This might have all distracted for Nats coming around on the flank, you know. No Sentinel.
Yeah.
Defense pushes like this, it got to be watched, and Smoggy's got eyes.
Palmer's down in the midst of all of this. But Smoggy, very aware. All avenues accounted for, apart from Kiko's actually done, what was that, 140 as well on top of that?
145 as well.
Oh my god. Yeah, Smoggy's dropped down. Damage definitely being done, but the time is ticking. Chances to win the round, dwindling still. This is sharp by Kiko, man. Doesn't matter as the eco, he's doing damage and more. Him and Kamek side by side. The rifle picked up, but won't be able to keep it into the next. EDG, keep two of their guns at least.
It's good signs for Liquid that somebody like Kiko, who has been instrumental to them getting here in the first place, is still performing. I mean, he is hitting shots. He's looking super sharp here. Wanted desperately to make it at Masters Bangkok, but his own personal reasons to do so as well. His family, I believe on his mother's side is Thai, so he's been here quite a lot in the past. So he's obviously going to want to perform when it comes to an event like this too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he's also half Canadian. Maybe he's going to pop off for Masters Toronto too.
We'll see. Camo's got the Otlo in the hands, and he's got plenty of targets to choose from, especially when no one deals with that bloody eye on high. TP's back with a gate crash. Safer position. Can't quite dodge the flash in time. Ramp control going to be gained here for EDG, but the issue is what you do after that point.
Somebody's got to be in charge of breaking that haunt. Can't be allowing that. Paditech almost always plays A at the start of these rounds. Has to be something that EDG are aware of. Of course, you don't know where Camo is at this point. He could have easily teleported away and be set up on a different part of the map.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Dealing with the Euro. Pesky.
Toxins going up.
EDG actually have a free path all the way through mid if they wanted to go there.
Choose to take it. Double drop down into vents.
But it's not easy to hit B. You've lost B main control. Nats and Kamek are going to hold on to that till the ends of the earth.
Yeah, this is really quite struggling, I think, isn't it? Team Liquid primed and ready, I think, to dissuade and push back any sort of attempt onto the B side. And EDG, oh dear. I'm seeing Melons, man. This is a time issue potentially occurring.
30 seconds left.
Made a bit of noise in cutting it just at the 30 seconds mark.
And they baited Kiko into B heaven, so now this A site is a little weaker.
It's Paddy that's going to be tested, challenged. Shot missed, going wide. Camo does have a dimensional drift. That's going to give him all the information he can work with, but Paddy cannot really help. He's not much longer. This war still starts. Hits that. Trade and sidekick off to the side. Plenty more targets where that came from. Simon has to stick that plant out, so to get that extension, but it's a 2v4 at that. In through the corner, Kiko is taking names and ripping off heads at this point. Too much to overcome for Kong Kong. That's 3 in a round, man. Kiko is just on one. He's already earned himself up to another showstopper.
He looks spectacular. How was the haunt not getting broken at the start there? It felt like with nobody dying at the beginning of the round, they were lacking a little bit of their execute power. They won't be worried about it next time. They have the Rolling Thunder. Simon got that off his death. Or got it right as he died, I should say. Now you're worried about the operator, you're worried about Showstopper being used by Kiko, and the fact that Kiko is 11-3 to begin with should send shivers down your spine. I think EDG are approaching this well from a macro point of view. They just tripped up a little bit there in round 6.
Time to jump.
Plenty of ults built up in the war chest though for EDG if they want to make a go of things over towards B at least. See that the haunt is dealt with. They're taking it slow to begin with.
A fake teleport over towards B main. Should make Kamek a little scared that they've taken this control, but still pretty bold. Getting decent info for the rest of the team.
The control gets up. Oh my, Chichu. Cheeky with a peek, but it's a head ripped clean off, and here's that showstopper. Earned up, primed and ready. He's going to be running out. What is that?
That's unbelievable!
Ludicrous stuff from Kong Kong. Pulling that one out, it's our opening game, man. You got to hold some of it back still, Nats. Tucked up, ratty position at that, but he's traded nevertheless. And here's where the fight really kicks off, straight through mid. There's going to be another kill found with Kamek. Can't quite find it. Camo off to the side as well, and he finds that stray shot. Slightest of angles to work with, and Simon is left alone. Back against the wall. 2 targets to deal with. Knows the rough positioning. Heads on a bloody swivel. And not enough to dismiss Paddy, not from that high ground.
What crazy impact from Camo in this round with the operator. The fact that EDG are trying to play slowly, and then Team Liquid have gone, all right, we're going to adjust, we're going to add the op into the equation, and suddenly it's so much more difficult. Yeah, we've got to see the replay of this. Oh, that is one of those filthy shots! The fact they don't win the round after that is actually a disaster.
I don't even want to talk about the round they just lost, bro. I want to talk about that show a little bit more. Oh my goodness.
EDG have just called a timeout.
Nice. The way I just died, crazy.
So legit. So
that.
legit. That is one of the most disgusting flick one-taps I've ever seen. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to go in many people's frag movies because they lost the round. And the reason they lost the round, I think, is so much to do with Camo repositioning. He got that op kill right at the start of the round over towards A from Chishu, and then he's in B in an anchor position by the time they actually commit to the B split. That's really good. And EDG are doing all the right things, trying to get into positions, even countering the showstopper. But they're not really being able to navigate this op.
No, finding it difficult. Because it's exactly the thing you don't want to be going up against if you're playing slow. Trying to bait out some of the aggro plays on Team Liquid's defensive side of split. The more you run the time down, the more you try and contact into it, you just leave gaps open. Like you said, I mean, Cao's all over the map. He's everywhere at once. When you're on a Euro, you get that luxury. Be fluid with your placement. EDG can think they've spotted him out in his position, but he can be on the other side of it in a blink of an eye.
Look at him here, for example. I mean, they've actually swapped the operator around, so Kiko's got it up here.
And this is a lot of presence. I mean, emphasis being placed by EDG up towards ramp, and that spam. Again, instinct at its core. Forced to really dash away from the fray.
Kamek clearing over towards B. This has got to end A.
I'll take it in that direction. Yeah, there's going to be Paranoia sweeping forwards up towards Heaven as well. There's going to be a bit of safety ground for EDG. Good passage into the side as well. Even planned it is possible for Heaven here. Team Liquid looking to try and take this one, and potentially with a flood. There's a flash around the corner. Kankang dropped single digits. 1 HP at that, but potentially all he needs.
They know where the danger player is. Yeah. They just don't have utility to be able to flush him out properly.
Players round onto the side. EDG, they win out that critical fight though, out towards elbow. Paddy gone. Maybe they can try and fight their way past. Time is ticking here. This operator in the hands of Kiko is really slowing them down to a degree as well. And now you're seeing it. The peaks coming out. Smoggy tries to take that fight, but surely the openings are done and dusted. Kiko just trying to save this operator, trying to keep it into the next. It's a round one. The goal is damage for Team Liquid.
And I'd say they achieved their goal there. Everybody on EDG falling. The score up to 4 each, but EDG's economy is going to be in a bit of a rough spot. They're definitely primed to get ecoed again here. They're going to have enough to be able to buy for this one. But if Team Liquid can come out with a big strategy, admittedly, well, they've got time to think about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Take a look at how this one went down, though. Paddy, does he spot something? Just a glimmer, perhaps, but often people are going to be going for that kind of spam lineup based off the wall timing as well. So as Chishu puts up the wall, you spam that kind of angle, really likely to be able to get damage, if not a kill, out of that spot. But yeah, this time, swapping the operator over to Kiko's hands did not get the job done. Took a little bit of the pace out of the retake, I agree with you.
Sure. There's a tech pause. Now I was hoping, because the stage wasn't initially lit up in an ominous shade of red, that we might have just escaped. It was going to be a quick and easy fix, but maybe not so. Tech pause gear.
Alas.
Take guesses of that.
Yeah.
Pray that they're not a sponsor of the show.
Well, I mean, maybe it's because Kiko's on the gear. I don't know.
Okay.
He's playing like he is.
It's a mouse issue, I've heard, so
okay.
Do some digging. Next time the camera doesn't fly by onto the stage.
And this is a crucial round that's coming up as well. You hate to have this kind of pause in momentum, but actually for both teams, it's not like it affects Team Liquid more than EDG or the other way around. EDG need to win this one. Their economy is at risk, so is Team Liquid's.
Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid, they even want Sounds weird that even want to buy into it.
Yeah, I'm not
Their
sure.
money's odd. It's all over the place.
Yeah, they don't have very good money.
You can put together a buy, but
is it worth it to try to damage EDG's economy further? They'll be thinking about that, but they're not allowed to communicate during a tech pause. So those are the thoughts going through the players' heads in this kind of situation and how to go for the adjustments. It's going to be interesting as we move on to the later maps as well to see whether the off time that EDG has had has meant that they retool their comps for every map.
Yeah.
We saw them run, they literally ran more Neon than Tejo in kickoff, which I think is bonkers. Almost every other region was going crazy with the Tejo. Almost every team that got here was going hard with the Tejo.
But it's a symptom, I think, of the fact that they played their games early, right? You got to think.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of time to prep, like I said. I mean, potential double-edged sword. Do you want the momentum coming into the event? Do you want the extra prep time where you can trip up some of your opponents who might be prepping? Because honestly, a large portion of Team Liquid's game plan when they were in that finals versus Vitality came down to some very individual reads and tailoring their game plans around it, especially on Split, especially on Haven. They do like to counter-strat, changing one or two major elements to the way that they play.
It's so difficult to anti the Chinese teams at this event. I think that's one of the
EDG
big...
only played Split once. It was at the beginning of the kickoff event.
And they've changed up their composition,
Yeah,
so even if you did look at that game, it doesn't matter. You can see here from the POV, we're watching Kang have a couple of issues with what's going on. He's the one that's suffering from mouse issues, but you wouldn't believe it looking at the flick on the Kiko earlier.
Maybe the hospital flick. Transfer the pain to the mouse.
Did he break the mouse? Destroy it? I don't know. I don't know what he's done over there. I mean, we're framing it as if it's his fault, but I heavily doubt that it is. You can see him examining the mouse. What's happened to it?
What's going on?
What's happened to it?
Pick it to pieces.
Live disassemble and reassemble the mouse.
Okay. Well, we've changed out the peripherals. At this point, it's all about just rebooting, getting Kang back into the fight. There's a lot of Chinese fans here. Listen, they were loud as well with the intros coming out.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people are loving the Chishu Nats bromance going on as well.
Absolutely.
Just the fact that you have a player who is so good. I mean, Chishu is so phenomenally talented, has won champs. Something that his idol Nats has not been able to accomplish. But it's still that concept that we all are familiar with within esports, where you find somebody early on and you attach yourself to them and you're like, this guy is how I want to
idolize
later on.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you study the tapes and
of course you were studying the Nats tapes. If you were a Sentinel back when Chishu was getting into the game, there was nobody better.
He was defining the role.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about it on the desk about Nats' lurk setups on Split. He's like, yeah, he was doing that eons ago. He was the one who came up with it.
Now, if you look at Nats' setups once we get to the third map, if indeed we get to the third map, he's already changing stuff up too.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, while we're waiting for this game to kick off again once more, we're going to set it down to the desk as well.
Thank you very much, Saisho and Bren. I hope you guys are happy that Pansy is in the building. I can confirm I have seen her, and yeah, that is the only reason why we're here. But we spoke a little bit about how the rookies on the side of Team Liquid are going to be able to perform on the international stage. And Mimi, for Kiko, it doesn't even feel like this is his first time.
Yeah, I mean, for context on this guy, he's never been in a global event before. He has the pressure of, you know, family being, he's half Thai. He's the only person with any real relation to Thailand here, and has obviously the fans behind him, but no pressure at all. He's absolutely fragging just these first few rounds on the stage.
Yeah, before we even went here, I saw him in makeup, and I was like, hey, are you like nervous for today? He was like, no, I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm just excited. Like, I wanted to start, and definitely that is something that we saw on the game as well. I think that also the camo with the Yoru and the operator is having a lot of impact in the game.
Well, the issue has been resolved. We can get back into game. Over to you, Bren and Saisho.
Thank you very much. Feel sorry for the desk. Honestly, they had to get a bit of a run on to try and fill for us, and it wasn't even that long of a tech pause.
Now, we're about to launch into the next round here, assuming that everything has been solved. So just to bring you back up to speed, the score's 4-4, you can already see that. But it's a tense economical situation here in Split. EDG, if they lose the round, are going to get their economy broken, and Team Liquid have actually opted to go for a half buy. They could have tried to salvage some kind of force together here, but it's only Nats who's decided to force a rifle full armor. So Team Liquid's job is to try to do as much damage as possible to the EDG economy, keep it honest. And they're going for that fight over towards mid, same as their pistol round setup.
Where's that trade? I mean, Team Liquid, the discipline has been honed and refined over the course of their running kickoff. Not the same team for the opening games.
Paddytech's going walkabouts over here as well. Chishu's super disciplined, holding a really, really passive spot. I think Chishu could even walk forwards a little here because you know that early rounds they were fighting mid.
This is the Team Liquid Classic, isn't it? Eco round, pack mentality, try and group up and take these fights together with them. Still, it's that equivalent exchange when it comes to it, and Nats just taking off heads.
This was the forced rifle that Nats went for, down to only 100 credits, had to make something happen with it, and now they've got themselves into an advantage spot.
Exactly.
2 rifles versus 2 rifles, and Patty's there just holding down A.
It trips up even the best of teams.
The timings that Team Liquid take and how proactive they are on the defense, you can see that EDG are set up to try to handle it.
A call made by Team Liquid as well to give up map control, so make sure that they hold really far back. I mean, the battle line's being drawn all the way.
I'm not sure about this one, because if you allow Chishu to get into position where they can plant and pit, that is going to be tough.
Oh, Nats. Will he spot the head? Silhouette's waiting. It's a fight taken out through spawn, and across their placement is immaculate. I mean, that's a round where, I mean, they're barely investing in Team Liquid. They steal it away.
Couldn't find a better round there, Team Liquid. They've completely crushed EDG's economy. That's going to be a heartbreaker. EDG have just come off the back of a technical timeout. They're like, all right, this is our chance to get the momentum back into the game. We've got ourselves an anti-eco, and once more these EDG anti-ecos trip them up. Even in their successful run at Champions, they were losing a lot of these. They have to do better if they want to be able to close out halves like this.
There's only other foot for EDG. They do have the knives to work with, though. Sometimes going to be happy with that. See if he can make a go towards heaven. That's going to be Salvo's fault line. Everything can be committed. Nats, you're in the danger zone, son. Plenty of targets, but he's going to be swarmed and overcome still. Bit of help maybe occurring. Paddytech is quick with it. Reinforcements have arrived. Mowing them all their way down, man. Mid-controlled. And it's chill, it's cool, it's easy for Team Liquid at this point. You're running away with a half.
They certainly are. There's only a couple, I mean, it might not have been a bit chill there. Look at this situation as well. Kiko holding such a passive spot just with the shorty counters Kang, the star player with Bladestorm in hand. 2 rounds left in the half, and like you said, Team Liquid, they are poised to run away with things here. They're getting so close to big ultimates.
Beautiful, good job.
EDG holding outside B main, looking for an early round push. That isn't going to come. They call Kamek every once in a while over here towards B, and he is in a really aggressive spot. He's got a recall star to try to get out.
Hard reliance on this team to hold on to B heaven control, but EDG are grouped up. Looking for a fight. Wait a second, they spotted it. Just the shoulder. Oh my.
He goes back into the same...
There's no way. Steps forwards. Wants to take the fight straight to them. What a challenge from Kamek! And it's 2 taken away. EDG, but a bite from the round, removed just as easily as that. The spike dropped down at their feet. EDG left reeling.
Another situation where Chishu could possibly get a pit down and maybe win things. He's going to pit at the same time as Smoggy plants. If there was anybody close, maybe that would be dangerous, but EDG have gotten away with it. Now can they win?
TP disengaged, backs himself away. The pit does allow Team Liquid options. At least get themselves into a site and position for the retake. Still difficult in itself to deal with. Howard committed. One's alongside it. Sees. Dumping the util. Now it comes down to stray. Spam kill's going to be found as well with a highlight occurring. Chichu takes back Fate. Takes back control of the round. Side by side, him and Smoggy. Could have got dicey.
They had to find the right timings there, and Paddy was doing what he could to try to flush out and get them info inside the pit. But that is a desperately needed round. They had 2 very similar situations. Chichu's pit was able to come out good in at least one of them. Considering how important some of these rounds have been that went the way of Liquid, a 6-6 half here I think is a win for EDG, even though you would normally expect Team Liquid's attack side to be better than their defense with this comp.
Straight back into it. It's an outlaw in the hands of Camo.
Yeah, he's pushing up.
Yeah, 3 players of half armor. Meanwhile, mid-take by EDG. Bit of util to Salvos. Quick dash by Kong. It's going to be granted that space. Paddy's got a hell of a task. Have to be careful in this spot. Almost a sixth sense, I think, for the danger zone there, because he's already pushed his way back. G looking for a bit of a play.
Kiefer has ult.
To be heaven, and his that ult comes into effect. As he was saying, Fuse is going to be burning down just the cinders, and he's supposed to just pre-aim it off into the corner. EDG, an opening. Paddy falls, still that's a nade, it rebounds. Brings down nobody, straight to his knees. Mad dash now on a scramble up towards the A site. Potentially, they're calling for a bit of a pause here. 45 seconds left.
They can go for a pause, and Kankan might even realize that B Heaven is open.
Camo! He's right there, ready and waiting, and a dimensional drift as well to escape if he chooses to use it. He's going to be able to get that information. 35 seconds.
They're going B,
Where
but
are you
Kamek's
going?
there! Kamek's there!
Straight into mid. He might be able to find this one. It's an easy target, potentially yet. That's a spike on down into mid. Meanwhile, Chichu up through the guts, trying to find it up through heaven. This is chaos, this is anarchy. But EDG, they thrive in it. They were molded in it.
They know that Kamek's here.
And Kamek has got a lot to do as the playmaker. No way, man! Down to the 1v1 somehow. It's EDG up to 6. They bring it even.
That is a ridiculously chaotic way to end the attack half from EDG. Kankan became the lurker there, finding space in B Heaven. Kamek had pushed out all the way through B main. But now we're going into Team Liquid's favoured half. I think they're still in a good position to win.
Yeah, we'll find out one way on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more action coming up.
Had it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all three on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.